First of all, thank you so much for taking your time and coming all the way here, Ankur. To take a look at the all-new Tiger 900 Rally Pro. So, since you are looking at the Tiger 900 Rally Pro, I want to, tell you, how much of a difference it is all the way from the old Tiger 800. Okay. So the Tiger 800, having it in our lineup, and I've personally put a couple of thousand kilometers on it. It's a fabulous bike, no doubt about it. But as every brand comes up with updates and upgrades, but we never had thought, it's going to be such a big game changer when the 900s actually came out. And personally, with the old XCX, you could actually feel the weight. Personally, I'm not a tall person. I'm just about 5'6.5", and I cannot flat foot on the XCX or even currently on the Rally Pro. Okay. But the Rally Pro, the weight is shaved off, and it also it's so well distributed weight on the motorcycle. It's so nimble yet so easy to ride this motorcycle, and it makes it such a joy to ride. Even at low speeds. And even out on the highway, it's an absolute breeze to ride this motorcycle.
I understand. Because since we have already seen it, specifically we had the design out on the social media.
Absolutely.
So, thinking as it is a leaner body, and we did not have an idea that how good it will be to the previous generation. Right. So, talking about that, since it already has so much amount of weight in previous 800s, XC, X or XC, whatever the version is. But since it was a beast of a mode in a bulkier look from the front or the linear angle, but this looks quite clean, trimmed off, even though we have all the specifications that is carried forward from the previous generation, and we have a couple of load of other specifications as well. So talking about that ride height that you're telling, so how is this comfortable for a person like you to ride this particular bike of a 820mm or 850mm on the market?
So, the Tiger, the older generation, if you actually notice the seat, okay, the 800s were much broader over here. Okay, so in figures, in paper, basically the seat height has gone up by 10mm. Okay, the old ones were about 840mm, but since the seat was broader, I could not reach that much. But what I personally feel now, since it's tapered down here, okay, though it has gone up by 10mm, I'm more confident and I can actually reach better than what I could reach on the old 800s.
Okay, so you're telling that the seat is tapered so such that the balancing out of the position is much better.
Yes, and second, the weight aspect as well. I don't feel the weight anymore on this bike. Okay, it's so nimble. I can lean the bike very comfortably, and I can slide both the sides wherever I want to flat foot. I can just slide really quick because the transition is so easy because of the seat design. And though they've narrowed it down, they've not compromised on the comfort aspect. The comfort still is phenomenal in terms of long rides. Longer rides is not an issue. At the same time, there were certain things which was very much asked for, small changes which made a lot of difference. The repositioning of the indicator, and this is an off-road spec bike. People tend to take it off-road. You tend to drop the bike, lift it up. That's a very common thing, and the bikes are meant to take that kind of abuse on the ride. It's very common for an ADV to be dropped and lifted up and ridden back. So the biggest concern everyone had was the old 800s had the indicators on the sides. So the moment it took a fall, even with the guards on, the first thing what used to take a hit was the indicator. And people had the concerns, and they wanted the indicators to be repositioned somewhere. Now positioning it up here is taken care of that. Plus the other thing is the wheels again. One of the biggest concern everyone had was the old ones, the Tiger 800 lineups, they had a tube in the XCA and the XCX. The biggest concern was for people if I'm out middle of nowhere, what if I have a flat, and what if I'm not trained to encounter such situation. So that was one of the biggest concern they had. Now you have the spokes yet with a tubeless setup now. So you don't have to worry that. That is also addressed by Triumph when they did an upgrade from an 800 to a 900. Now, since it's tubeless, it is not a rocket science anymore. Anyone can fix a tubeless. You don't need to even be perfectly trained to fix tubeless is what I personally feel. But a little bit of understanding of the knowledge is very important. But For you to fix a tubeless, it's much easier than taking the whole wheel off, taking the tube, replacing the tube and putting it back on. Right? It makes it so much easier. At the same time, the suspension was one of the concerns for people who were doing intense off-roading. They wanted an option where they could actually to play with the preload. Yeah. The old ones, the front fork never had an option where you could actually adjust the preload. Yeah. Now the front fork also gives you an option where you can actually adjust the preload as well. Small attention to details, like since it's an off-road spec bike, it's got a bolt-on subframe.
But it was a single chassis in the previous generation.
Exactly. And if there is a major impact or something, when you don't need to go for the entire chassis and then build the bike over it. Now if the rear subframe is damaged, you can always order a separate rear subframe and get it fitted on. Same goes if you don't want the foot pegs, you can always knock off the foot pegs. That's bolt on now. And coming to the tail section, I mean, most of them are a fan of the 800 tail lamps. I do understand some people still don't like the rear end, but looking at the practical aspects, the tail lamp is positioned much lower. So even when you put a top box, you still have a good visibility of the tail lamp. For a vehicle which is sitting tall behind you, I can actually see when you are applying the brake. So not only that, compared to the old XCA and the Rally Pro, there are lots of bells and whistles which is come along as a package with the motorcycle itself, and not going through a major bump in the price tag. The old XCAs, if I'm not wrong, were priced approximately about 19.25 lakhs on road and in Karnataka, and now this is priced at about 19.9. That is including all your additional services like your extended warranty and all that. And Rally Pro, what you see, the stock fitment is the engine guard at the bottom part, the engine guard and the metal bash plate. These are standard fitment. The retractable gear peg and the brake pegs are standard fitment. The only thing which we have added on in terms of protection is basically the tank guard. This is an accessory. This is something which does not come as a stock fitment on the motorcycle. But in terms of protection, you have the bash plate, you have the guard, and you have the knuckle protectors as a standard fitment which comes on the bike. And in terms of utility point of view, the center stand is not an accessory on the Rally Pro. It comes as a standard fitment. Heated seats for rider and pillion, where pillion gets separate controls now for the heated seats. The switches are located over here. It will also give you the indication out on the display when the heated seats are active. And the rider gets a separate control for heated seats over here. And also right next to the aux lamp. So you have the heated seats and you have the aux lamp switches over here. So on the display, since it's the Pro variant, it comes packed with quite a few things as standard. For example, the display comes with Bluetooth connectivity as standard. So you just need to download a free application on your phone, which is applicable on iOS and it's applicable for Android as well. So you just connect your phone. You can connect it to the motorcycle. Once it's connected, you can have turn-by-turn navigation. You can control your music by shifting the track back and forth, and also the volume controls are standard. So when you switch on the display, this is one of the things you're going to be looking at. What it indicates in the Rally Pro variant is, since it's coming equipped with tire pressure monitoring system, when you start the bike, just ride a bit, it's going to give you an indication of your front tire pressure and rear tire pressure. In case if the pressure is low, it is going to highlight with a different color, and also you'll get an indication there. And also, to toggle through them, you just have an up and down arrow here, so which you can toggle through the 5-way joystick which comes inbuilt in all the Tigers. So I can just toggle and it gives me the fuel status. That's basically the range to empty, the current liter per the average fuel economy, and also the liter per 100 kilometer. Then once the Bluetooth is connected, once your phone is connected, you can have the SMS review in here. You can have your call history, and if someone's calling you, you can have the live update of the person who's calling you there. And in terms of GPS, you're going to have a turn-by-turn navigation. You just go to the application on your phone and set the destination, and you can just keep the phone back in your pocket, and the rest you can just follow the navigation on the dash itself. In case if you have an action camera, you can always connect your action camera to it. And you can control your GoPro. Then again, coming to the music, if you have your intercom or you're using your Bluetooth earphones through your phone, you can always toggle through different tracks and also increase and decrease the volume. So you don't need to take the phone off every single time for it. Then if you feel the tachometer, like the RPM meter is difficult to read in the in the sides, you always have one on the top as well. You can keep this as an option. Then coming to the styles, you have different styles, you can change them. Before you have to actually since it had different themes, you can do it on the main dash itself. So center press, this is one of the style. The second one, what we were looking at. This is the third one. And this is the fourth. And this is the colors, the Triumph has actually not left out, even small details. For example, if you look at the fuel bars or the fuel bars over here, and it's in yellow, small attention to detail. I know most of them might not even find it, as that important, but someone who, like me, who is very picky, would appreciate something like this. For example, I don't like something which goes with the current theme and in yellow details. So I can just switch it and make it to something which is more appealing to my taste. Now it's blue and I can just change it to whatever the presets. There's about 4 colors. I can toggle through each of them. Then again, coming to the contrast, you have, since it's going to sense as per the brightness. So you have low contrast, auto contrast and high. High, it's going to be always in the white background. Low, it's always in the darker background. Auto, it's going to sense as per the lighting and it's going to change the color. The moment I take it a slightly darker environment, it's going to change to something like this. Again, back to the tire pressure monitoring system what we have. And coming to the riding modes, there's a shortcut riding mode right here. So you just hit the mode button and then you'll have the riding mode pop up on the display. You can just toggle through them with the joystick. Just press the mode button. You have road, you have rain. So starting from rain also, if you go to each and every mode, you can actually see throttle map what it is at, the ABS what it is at, and your traction settings. So whatever you have set it, you can actually see what level of ABS traction and throttle it is in each and every mode. So here you have basically a rain mode, road, sport, off-road, off-road pro, and a rider mode. Rider mode, something where you can actually set the throttle response to your taste, the traction to your taste. So it's a little more of a customizable mode to every individuals. And also you have the pictorial representation on the bottom when the riding mode's activated. So coming to the one last thing which the older generation actually missed out was the Triumph Shift Assist. So now you have Shift Assist here which allows you to do clutchless up and down shifts at low loads. So it makes it easy when you are actually off-roading, or if you are even if you want to drop a gear and overtake quickly on the highways as well. Plus, the bike has been designed so well that there's no compromise on the fit and finish of the motorcycle or the electronics aspect of it. I would say this is basically the new benchmark for the Tiger 900 is what has been set in the adventure segment, to be honest. The older generation, there's one more concern was for the initial, you had to rev the bike a little harder to get it going. Now change in the firing order, making it instead of the standard firing order, they've made it 132 as the firing order, which is not only changed the exhaust note, and it has actually increased the initial as well. So it's a little more entertaining to ride even at a low RPM. So you can actually stand and go at crawling speeds and just whack the throttle open and you have enough amount of power to get you going really fast without revving it to a really high RPM. Since it is an ADV and people tend to tour with it as well, so there is the utility aspect is not left unturned or untouched. It's you have a DIN to USB charging station, one over here for the rider. You have one here. There is one on the side as well for the pillion, which is right here. And if you do not have a DIN to USB, you still have an option under the seat, which is a direct USB connect with a phone holding storage area. So under the seat, you have a place where you can keep your phone. So you just press the door, shutter door a little harder, it pops up, there you go. So you have a USB socket area in the bottom, it's direct USB, you can keep your phone, get it charged, and you can keep the phone here and close it, so that there's not any rattling or shuddering when it's happening when you're riding out on the road or if you encounter any bad roads, so you don't end up damaging your phone keeping it here. It's really well thought of, and I think this was one of the things which most of us needed, especially during long rides. Most of us, we used a mobile holder, put on Google Maps, and we ended up riding. Now with the turn-by-turn navigation, I can keep the phone here, get it connected to the Bluetooth, and I have everything I need right on the dash. And I don't need to take my hands off. And the best part, since it's not touchscreen, I'm not taking my hands off. And with a 5-way joystick, everything is easy. Just with single thumb, I can get all the controls I need and all the options I can just toggle through. It makes it very easy for me even on the go.
The girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done.